Hello everyone. I'm going to be setting up an RLCraft client installation for a multiplayer server that has already been created, primarily so I don't have to walk my friends through these installation steps one at a time manually. A quick disclaimer, some of the steps I'll be going over here are not strictly required to install and run RLCraft. I do them because it makes me feel better and because I want to be able to set up RLCraft in a separate installation directory so that I can easily switch back and forth between RLCraft and another modded server that I play on regularly. With that said, let's go ahead and get started. There are 3 core components to RLCraft and 2 optional components that I'm going to go over installing. The 3 core components are Optifine, RLCraft, the server pack. Even though we're doing a client installation here, the server pack is the download that includes all of the mods, and Minecraft Forge, which is the Minecraft modded installation structure on which RLCraft runs. So we'll go ahead and download everything required for Optifine. You want version 12 or 1.12.2, and you want HDUE3. F4 and F5 will both crash. I believe it also says this on the RLCraft CurseForge page. So you want the E3 version. Going to wait for this obnoxious timer, and then we will skip and download. Keep that. Next, the actual RLCraft mod pack. Again, RLCraft server pack 1.12.2, beta version 2.8.2 is what we'll be using here. And we can just go ahead and click download. Again, wait for an obnoxious timer. And while that is downloading, we will go ahead and download everything else. So the texture pack that is recommended on the RLCraft CurseForge page is Chroma Hills. Any texture pack is fine. You could use any texture resource pack that you prefer. Chroma Hills is what's suggested on the page and what was used while designing this mod pack, so I'll go ahead and use that for now. We'll go down to 1.12 and to version 2 and download the zip file of that. While that's downloading, we'll go to Minecraft Forge, and we can show all versions. The version that we're looking for here is going to be 14.23.5.2838, and again, this is on 1.12.2. Download the installer, which will give you the .jar file. And it will download, and we will keep that as well. I'm not going to download SUS Renewed. This is a shader pack, again, optional for this installation. It does make the lighting effects and everything look very nice. So it is recommended, but completely optional. Now that everything appears to be downloaded, I'm going to go to my downloads folder. And just for simplifying everything, I'm going to cut all this out of my downloads folder. I'm going to create a installation files directory. And paste it in there. Get rid of that. All right. Now, the other folder that we're going to want to have open for this is going to be the primary Minecraft installation folder. So this is wherever you first install Minecraft. For most people, it's going to be the directory C, users, your profile that you're under, and then app data and roaming and .minecraft. The first thing we're going to do before we get started is create a backup of this. This will prevent you in case you make any mistakes or something gets corrupt going through this process. It will prevent you from completely losing any other installation information that you have for your other Minecraft installations. So we're going to go ahead and copy everything in the .minecraft folder into the .minecraft backup folder. Once that completes, we will have a backup of all of our files, so if something does get screwed up, we can simply delete the .minecraft folder, change this name from backup to just .minecraft, and we'll be good as new, or at least as good as before we started screwing around with things. The next thing that you're going to want to do is create a separate directory for the RLCraft installation. You can see here that I have a Minecraft folder and another drive, and I created a demo folder just for this video. And inside of that demo folder, I will create another folder that is RLCraft. You can put it inside of your nested inside of your .minecraft folder. Things can get a little confusing doing that. I don't necessarily recommend it, but it is something you can do. It's not going to hurt anything. So now that we have our folders created, what we're going to do is we're going to load up our Minecraft launcher, go to installations, a new installation. We're going to create a 12.2 installation. We're going to browse to the directory where we created our RLCraft installation folder. You don't need to worry about setting anything else at the moment, although we will be changing some of this when we do our final install. This is just to create the initial 12.2 files and will not ever be used after that. So in that light, I'm going to make this called 12.2 delete me and create. Once we've created that, we can go ahead and play it for the first time, which will start populating some files in this folder here. Now that it's run, we can quit out of it. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to where we have our installation files. We do need to extract the RLCraft server pack folder. Because we will need the files that are inside of that. But for now, what we're going to do is we're going to run the Forge 12.2 installer. Now, when you run this initially, I will go ahead and navigate to the Minecraft folder where our RLCraft installation is going to go. What you're going to see here is the directory is missing a launcher profile, which is fine. So what you do to fix that is cancel out of that, go to .minecraft, your main Minecraft installation. There's a file here called launcher_profiles.json. You copy that into your RLCraft installation folder and run the Forge installer again. And once we navigate back to our RLCraft installation folder, you will now see no error message. Click OK. It's going to populate this with a few more installation files. Okay. Now, in order to get the Forge installation to show up in your launcher, because your primary installation directory is where your launcher is pulling its information from, we're going to go ahead and copy everything back into, from our RLCraft installation folder, back into your main Minecraft directory. You can replace everything. That shouldn't hurt anything. Replacing all these files should not harm anything, so don't worry too much about that. Once that has been copied, you can open up your Minecraft launcher again. Go to installations and create a new installation. The version is going to be release 1.12.2-forge 14.23.5.2838. Going to call this RLCraft. Change the directory to the directory of our RLCraft installation, which in my case is right here. Go to more options. Under JVM arguments, You need to change the default allocated RAM. It's the default allocation is 2 gigabytes. RLCraft requires at least 4 gigabytes. You can put more than that if you have extra RAM in your system, or if you have a lot of RAM in your system. If you have less than 16 gigabytes, or certainly 8 gigabytes or less, I would recommend just sticking with 4. I have considerably more than that, so I'm going to go ahead and put 6. 4 should be fine for our RLCraft to run properly. Once you have that created, you can go ahead and hit play. This will create some additional folders in your installation directory. Once that's up, you can go ahead and quit out of it. Now that that has been installed, we can start copying over our files for the actual RLCraft installation. To do that, you go into the RLCraft server packs folder from the zip file that you extracted earlier. If you haven't extracted, you should probably do so now. Copy everything in that folder over to your RLCraft installation directory. Replace all files and destination, and you should be good to go there. The other thing I'm going to do real quick, since I will be using a resource pack, and I'm going to be using the one that they recommend, Chroma Hills in this case, I'll copy that into the resource pack folder in the installation directory. The next thing you need to do is copy Optifine into the mods folder. And at this point, you should be good to go. You should be able to load up your RLCraft installation and log into an RLCraft server with no issues. There's a couple other things I'm going to go over as far as setting up the RLCraft installation with the resource packs that we have installed here, as well as a shader pack, but that's not strictly necessary in order to load into and run RLCraft. I'm going to go ahead and delete this 12.2 delete me that we created earlier, as it is no longer necessary. And play our RLCraft installation. This is going to take about a minute or two to load up, so I'm going to go ahead and skip forward to when it is loaded. All right, now that it is loaded up, I'm going to quickly, you should see here 125 mods loaded, by the way. As long as you see that, you should be good to go. Going to go into options, resource packs. You will see that there are some available resource packs. I'm going to throw all of those into the selected section and hit done. It will take a minute for it to go back to the menu because it's now loading all the resource packs into the game. While it's doing that, I'm going to go ahead and, since I already have the SUS Renewed shader pack, if we go back to our installation files now, you should see shader packs option. I'm going to go ahead and copy SUS Renewed the shader pack into that shader packs folder. And if we go back into here, we can go to video settings and shaders and select SUS Renewed. And we can go to shader options. And the one thing that I usually turn on, because this shader pack does support height maps, I like to turn parallax occlusion mapping on. Everything else is going to depend on your system and your personal preferences. So other than perhaps motion blur, which I don't know why you would ever have motion blur on, but I always turn it off in every game I play. That being done, the rest of these options are again mostly going to depend upon the quality of your computer and your personal preference, with one exception. Under performance, there is an option for fast render. By default, it should be off. If it is on, turn it off. I believe even in the RLCraft CurseForge page, it mentions that having fast render on can and most likely will cause crashes within RLCraft, so make sure that is off if you want to have a good time. You should, at this point, be completely ready to go. I will go to multiplayer. I already have an RLCraft server set up and turned on, so I will go ahead and try to join this, and it should log me into the server. And in very RLCraft fashion, I have instantly died. Okay. And look, I actually managed to live through a spawn. But you should be. Oh, okay. All right. What happened? Anyway, you're free now to play RLCraft and die a lot, probably. You sadist. Have fun. One last thing real quick. I made this video for a very specific group of people, so if you're not one of them, if you managed to find this somehow, I certainly hope you enjoyed it, or at least got something out of it. Hopefully it was informative and helpful to you. If you didn't like it, or you didn't get anything out of it, I don't really care about your opinion, so take that for what it's worth. Have a good one. Is this